We will talk about a bit of video games as well. So yeah, 2014 film. Pat, what was your thoughts?
Amazing. Because here's the thing. Considering the fact that you came from a Need for Speed, you came from a Fast and Furious background, right?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that the whole point of this is that, right?
I know. I just felt that I'm getting used to this setup, so I just feel like you know
it's confrontational. But anyway, I've always liked Fast and Furious, but nowhere near as much as you. And now this is really confrontational because you're just staring at me. But yeah, I always loved Need for Speed games, and I loved the Fast and Furious film. Why you sat like that?
I don't know.
And then I loved Fast and Furious. I loved the early Fast and Furious. This isn't talking about Fast and Furious too much, is why I want to get onto it. But there's never been, in my opinion, an amazing like racing film about like basically what Need for Speed is as a story. And so that's why the moment I found out about it and I got the DVD of it, it's just, this blows me away because it took the elements I love of Fast and Furious and why that is the franchise it is and why you love it so much, and then it took it
got even nicer cars.
Nicer cars.
Nicer cars. That was the first thing that drew me in.
Yeah, and then from like a filmmaking perspective, it took the elements of Fast and Furious that sort of drew me away from it being amazing to just like pretty good films to now like just the techniques used to like film and all the film, like me for filmmaking techniques and stuff. So it's just like,
well, I love some of the shots, like especially of like the car pulling up and then like pulling down windows and getting out and whatnot, like those sorts of shots. You would see that in a lot of films. Like they even had a shot of that in the new Shang-Chi trailer. We'll talk about that at some point as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just the way they do it in films, specifically about the whole racing aspect, they always just get the shot just so perfectly correct.
I mean, like the first moments you see the first races, comparing it to any sort of typical chase scene or race in Fast and Furious, you have like you have the typical like almost shots of the car, shots of the people driving the car, and then you just have sort of scenic shots of whatever like they're almost crashing into or not. Whereas in this, obviously they were meant to be immersive, but this was like a new level of immersion for a car like race film for me, because you like literally that first chase scene when the train's coming past and they're about to like the countdown to like start racing. You're in the car and like the frame is moving as they're moving. It's meant to be like POV, isn't it? But like that's what drew me into it even more, because it was just seemed so like intense and just in the moment. And obviously that continued. I was worried that style wasn't going to continue throughout the film, but it did, obviously. And I mean, Michael Keaton, yeah, he did it. That he was, even though he was like a supporting artist style. In a way,
I didn't even recognize him straight away. Like that was the first time I'd seen a film with him in live action, because I'd never seen him when he played Batman, because obviously that was before my time. And I'd never obviously he'd been in stuff, but I'd never seen him really in anything. And then obviously once Spider-Man Spider-Man Homecoming came out and the trailer for the new Morbius film that's coming out and things like that. Yes, obviously I'm a Marvel fan. Don't kill me.
He plays great villains, though.
He does. He played Chick Hicks in the first Cars film as well. So just for even that. And I didn't even know that straight away. But he got recast in Cars 3. So
he's good at playing likable villains, in my opinion, because he isn't really a villain.
He played Ken in Toy Story 3, and Ken's even a villain as well.
But I mean, for instance, on the topic of Need for Speed, the fact that he is technically the villain, although technically.
No, he's not.
He kind of is a secondary villain, though. He's the supporting artist, but because of his actions...
Well, he's tracking his... He's not like a villain,
he's not the main villain.
What he's doing as a job is pretty much, alerting, almost by the fact that he's doing his, podcast on, all carrying on with the races and whatnot. He's pretty much giving the authorities a window. Yeah. The authorities are, using him to, track down where Toby Marshall's going with the I can't remember her name, but the British female character, blonde.
Yeah.
I'm going to call her British blonde.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look
for
up
this
the
video.
I
can't think. Actually, better do, because otherwise it's just going to sound really non-patriotic or whatever the phrase is.
But yeah, I loved because the actual
I shipped them as well. Like,
oh yeah,
as you do.
I liked. Yeah, Imogen in the film is the girl. Yeah.
No.
Not
Is
that's her. Julia is her name in the film.
I know she's not Anita because they make a whole joke about this female character called I really need Anita.
But yeah, Dino is obviously the main villain.
Oh yeah, played by Dominic Cooper. Yeah,
he is like he is a typical like racing film villain. The guy that wants to be first and wants to like destroy that.
Again, Michael Keaton's Chick Hicks in the Cars film. Like he was playing a. So you have obviously you got in racing terms, you've got your rookie, which is like your new person on the scene. Yeah. You've got your runner up who's been in there and been through hell. He's like probably in like his mid seasons at the moment. Like he's just gone through so much. And then you've got your veterans who are like your most experienced. And obviously that, you've heard that term for like other things as well, I expect, like, military and whatnot. You've got like your veteran racers who've just pretty much, they're the seniors of the career. Like they're seniors, chiefs, leaders. They've pretty much been through all of it and they're close to their retirement years. But I'd say in that instance, Toby Marshall, who's played by
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. Yeah. Such a great cast. I can't believe I've barely seen him in anything.
That was a great casting for the film. Yeah, he hasn't really been, obviously he's known for Breaking Bad. He's been, I think he's on an Apple TV show now. And yeah, he does the odd film when he can, and obviously El Camino, the Breaking Bad film. But yeah, he was amazing in this.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in more stuff. I'd love to see him in a new Fast and Furious movie as well. Like, obviously, like I know people are like,
if they brought him into the world, yeah.
If they brought him into the world, I think he'd suit that. Just typecast from Need for Speed a little bit. They have talked about doing a sequel to it, but I don't feel like it needs it 100%. But at the same time, it would be interesting to see what they do. If they did one.
Yeah, I mean that kind of story, I'd see why that
I see why the company would want one.
Yeah,
but because look how much money Fast and Furious made.
It's just, it works by itself.
I don't think they want to make as many films as they have games, because I didn't even realize this when it first came out. I think I had heard of it as a game, but I didn't think there was any resemblance to the adaptation. No. So Need for Speed is based off a video game series, obviously, which you can play for Xbox, and now obviously they've transferred to the PS4.
Well, literally every console.
Yeah. I think it was exclusive to one at one point, but
it's obvious if you're basically I don't want to be too. I'm not going to be sexist.
We're not gamers podcasts here, but
again, disclaimer. I'm not want to be sexist, but stereotypically, any guy that was a gamer under the age, like in a millennial, basically, we've probably played Need for Speed on a PS2 or PS3 or even PlayStation,
or just any person who was into racing. Like 2001 true. Did have female cast members in a Fast and Furious film, and two of them didn't even have their driver's licenses during the production of the first film. But it didn't mean they weren't into it. They wouldn't have said yes otherwise.
Exactly.
So they must have been into it. So yes, there must have been females. So we'll retract that statement.
Well, only for the games anyway. Just for female gamers who've been around for ages. As that for
people are probably going to go in the comments and call me a feminist now.
And they'll be like, it will either be hate me or love you.
I feel like it would have started from the last episode where you were like shitting on like the James Bond thing, and I'm the only one who's like not really saying much about it because I'm like not in agreement with it. You've got an issue with it, but yeah.
There we go.
So to clarify that as well, if you wondered why I didn't say much during that comment, but yeah.
One of our phones just went crazy.
It's just the annoying interference of the phones.
But
yeah, like in terms of Toby Marshall's character, I'd say he's a runner-up in terms of professional races. Like he's clearly had his experience beyond street racing. He's had it.
Yeah.
It's not even really about that either, really. Like, is it? They're kind of professional racers, but they don't do it on your average streets. They have like their own millionaire funded like circuits that they do it on, or their private racing. Like in Fast and Furious, you've got Race Wars, which is like an event that happens in the desert. That's basically how they do it. Like he and the fellow racers that you meet in that film and in the games, like they've got their own like dirt tracks. Basically, they've got their own places where they can legally and safely, or government or just authority permitted locations for doing races. I don't know where to look. I'm literally looking at you and I'm looking at the camera.
Now, unless you need to talk to it.
I literally don't know where to look.
What I loved about, there was a reason for the story. Like, what I loved about Need for Speed is the fact that they were mechanics. They have their own workshop, and they find out about the final race after they're trying to compete for races. And obviously I won't spoil anything, but they need the money, and then they end up using this car that has been built, and they technically kind of stole it in a way, but again, no spoilers. And they go and try and win the money, but again, it's an illegal street race set up by Michael Keaton's character. It's why I kind of consider him a secondary villain, because he is the reason for the half of any villainous actions caused by the film. But obviously, Dino is like the main villain of it because he wants to win.
Dino's like the proper villain, really. Like,
he's the proper villain. I think.
Yeah. I was going to call him Adrian Toomes, and that's the name of the Vulture in Spider-Man, who obviously he played. Michael Keaton's character is more of like a anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a bad guy, but he's not doing like good things.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that is what he is. But
he's not intentional. I don't think he's like, obviously his job is to do what he's doing, and he knows that, but he's not intentionally doing it for the wrong. He's not like, if he was to kill someone, which obviously he wouldn't do, because that's nothing like what his character would do. Like, he wouldn't be intentionally killing them. He'd know he's doing it, but he wouldn't be intentionally willing to do it.
Because you can see the lack of care in him, obviously, because like he's at the lighthouse at the end, which is where Michael Keaton's been the entire time, like literally on his property now at the end of the race, and
which is where that race in the end ends, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Much.
And he doesn't, like, obviously from like a sort of caring perspective, you'd be like, oh, you're gonna go down and help, but no, he's obviously just in the lighthouse room, just like, damn, like, you've done this, and that. You're gonna go down for a long time, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like he only cares about the race, and for that reason, it makes him an anti-hero.
And then he's not going to come out because he doesn't want to get in trouble for like aiding and abetting or whatever, whatever. It would look bad on him in his perspective, because he's obviously like a supporter of that.
Literally, yeah.
You know, I think the funniest line from him is also probably the most offensive as well, where he's like going against British blondies, like, you know, like fake British accent, like claiming to be in the seat next to Toby Marshall in the Mustang, and then you're right, governor. And he goes like that in the camera. I was like, Jesus Christ!
I know.
Can't like. I mean, I'm British, so, you know, like, I don't know where that stands in terms of
I feel like any
Americans
trying to, not necessarily any Americans trying to pull off a British accent, but Americans trying to pull off a British accent that also has American filmmakers and producers behind it. Sometimes it doesn't work very well, because they're like, "Oi, mate, can you sort this out for me?"
You blonde cat. Really, you think I don't know a toilet when I see one?
Like a really bad version of Snatch. But that's about it. Really.
I think
we're making these shorter
we're trying to, because we've got the camera set up now.
Technical limitations, and the fact that we don't like the idea of rambling for like 50 minutes to an hour and a half.
No, because we feel like you guys get too bored, and we're like, in terms of our viewage or whatever. I can't think of what the word is now. I was gonna
view account.
View account. It's not for the entirety of the videos, and we understand that people do not have an hour in the day to just sit and have a chat with people that they're not even actually chatting to. I've got a short attention span as it is, so I know exactly how you feel. So we're going to try and cut it down to like 20 minutes or less.
It's not like a really edited episode, but it's also not a really long podcast. It's just that finding that nice point in between where we're still talking in podcast format, but we're still keeping quite fine details. We haven't really gone off tangent much.
And like, even now, like, we're rambling a little bit, and I can tell, and I already feel like someone's going to get bored really quickly, especially if your attention span is really bad like mine. For that reason, I don't even watch our podcasts. So I don't know if I've said something completely offensive, and I really hope I haven't. And if I do, and you're offended by it, I do completely apologize. Sincerely. If you've got any points to add to our Need for Speed stuff, feel free to let us know in the comments. I don't know where you can watch it at the moment. You might be able to watch it on Netflix.
It's probably Netflix or Prime,
I think you can watch it on Netflix and Prime. If we find it anywhere where you can watch it, and you've obviously got an account with that, which the link will redirect you to, so we're not illegally like giving it to you. You know, like, you can then click the link in the description, watch the film for more context, and obviously we'll put the trailer links in the description as well if you have never seen it, and same with the video games as well. Like, we can try and find. I'll just send you the wiki. The wiki will be below. And all the information regarding it. But I think it's interesting that we've been talking about it, because it's obviously based on a game, isn't it? I figured that when I said that we weren't really games podcast, I would like to do a video on like the Spider-Man games and some games.
Spider-Man.
So
COD,
there could be some game videos coming out in the future. It depends, but for now we're just trying to get used to the setup. So we'll have our decision on how we're doing that, and we'll let you know next time.
I also apologise, also from my perspective more than anything, because obviously we both noticed it. If ever you hear the feedback issues with phones, it'll be an issue we sort over time. So apologise for that, but this is the first day of properly. We're doing bulk recording of a few episodes, so this is the first day of doing like actual in-person recording. So in the future, that'll be sorted and everything. But yeah. Another
there it is again,
if you hear that.
So it is your end. So every time I hear that noise,
it's just the phone. Yeah, it's just whoever's phone's on. But there we go. That's it. Thanks for watching. Really.
So thank you guys, and we'll see you again next week. Which we still have the same setup because we're gonna do some more videos. Today, as in today. So obviously, if you've watched the video that we've done with Jake just now, that this was literally filmed like less than like 5 minutes afterwards. So we'll see for the next episode, which for us will be 5 minutes, for you will be a week. So until then, I'm Oliver, this is Patrick. He should know is his house is himself, whatever that means. And we'll see you later.
Thanks guys.
Toodles.